Learning online. I'm Lisa Allegas, and this is Newsmakers. In this edition, we explore the variety of degrees offered online at Missouri Southern State University, including a new one in public relations, plus the tools available to faculty to deliver instruction beyond the typical classroom walls. We begin our conversation with MSSU Director of Digital Learning, Scott Snell. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So, distance learning isn't exactly a new idea, but it clearly got a dramatic push during the pandemic, people having to stay home. So let's talk about how far we've come with online learning. The internet made it possible, but how have things maybe changed, and has technology kind of developed?
So we'll start with the pandemic. And so the entire university pivots to online immediately, and federal funding opened up and became available. And what we decided to do at the time with the provost was use that as seed money to buy faculty new technologies that they were interested in using. And so we surveyed everyone, all the faculty, and we did. We licensed with about 15 different vendors, all kind of different technologies based on the different subject matters that the different faculty taught. And we used that federal money as seed money to create what we call the digital backpack. So it's no direct cost to students, and it's now available. All these software titles are now available to anyone teaching online. So that was a really big, that was a big change. That was a big expansion, I think, of what we have to support online learning at Missouri Southern. And we're still able to support it to this day, knock on wood, and hopefully we'll be able to in the future.
You mentioned a digital backpack. So tell us kind of what are some of the tools that are in there? And I mean, there's software, right?
Yes, there's software, and they do integrate with our teaching platform, which is Blackboard. And so, for example, we have one that is it's a replacement for the regular discussion board. And it works primarily on mobile devices, and it's set up to look like a social media stream. And it's a gamified engagement system where students try to earn their weekly allotted points by doing the things in the community that the faculty member wants them to do. And the faculty member can give extra points via accolades, so little badges for really good posts or replies and things like that. So it's a modernized discussion board. Another one is a platform where faculty can put their video content or PDFs or anything basically, and kind of compel the students to view that content and also drop questions throughout. And there's another one that allows faculty members that are teaching online, but because of what they're teaching, what they usually collect is paperwork.
Right.
There's a software that allows students to take a picture of their worksheet or their homework and upload it directly into Blackboard, and the teachers can grade all that paperwork digitally. So a really wide array of different functions based on what works best for what's being taught.
And this, certainly the one, seems to target a younger generation of students who are used to using technology. I mean, is there now a push to say, hey, we have to engage this age group in an environment that they're comfortable with? Does that make online learning even easier since they're used to technology?
I would say it's actually a challenge, because I think the technology used in teaching is a little bit different than what the students are used to doing on their phones. So that's kind of a challenge to get those two to meet. And a lot of times faculty don't want the students to complete the work on their phones, at least some of it. And sometimes students come in with the expectation that I will be able to do all this on my phone. So that's actually a little bit of a challenge. You would think that maybe it wouldn't be, but in my experience, it actually is kind of a challenge to get those two to meet.
So for most students, is it best to have then a laptop to use live syllabus?
Absolutely.
So it used to be a student, often non-traditional students, could take a class online, but now people can get an entire degree this way. How many of these degrees are offered at the university?
So we've got currently, and this number will grow, I think it grows not drastically in a speedy fashion, but over time. So currently we've got 11 undergraduate degrees. There are 8 graduate degrees. There are 16 minors and 8 certificates available online.
So lots of options.
Uh-huh.
And is the demographic of the online students changing? I mean, we might presume it's those who are holding down jobs, but are others taking advantage of online learning and online degrees?
The primary age group is a little bit older, so around 26, 27 for male and females, but it's also a very popular option with your traditional freshmen and undergraduate students. Even if they're on campus taking ground courses, they'll want to kind of supplement that with some online so they can get their hours along with some flexibility for social and family and work.
Well, and that was going to lead to one of my next questions. Scheduling can be difficult, but does this help people maybe even finish a degree faster?
Absolutely. So when you're talking about non-traditional mothers and fathers that are raising families and holding down jobs, online is sometimes the only option.
We often think of the computers taking away that, human connection. Is there still a way to have, student and instructor connections? I mean, we found out during the pandemic, Zoom calls,
Yep.
FaceTime, are those utilized?
Absolutely they are. So we've got a really fantastic, what are we going to call it? We're going to call it a virtual classroom, I think is works as far as the description goes. It's like a Zoom or like a Microsoft Teams, but it's built for education. And that also is integrated into Blackboard and allows all sorts of synchronous activities to take place between the faculty and their students, whether it's maybe voluntary synchronous meetings once a week, or maybe every so often to study for exam or review an exam. Those opportunities are definitely there. And that's only one example. There's a lot of different ways to interact with the digital backpack and Blackboard.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk with the faculty member and instructor just ahead, but how does this kind of change how teachers teach?
So that's a great question, and I think it changes everything. I think online is a lot more work. You've got to have everything organized ahead of time, because everything has to be uploaded into the virtual classroom. So all of the materials the students will need, their assignments, their quizzes, the questions for any discussions, due dates have to be put in. So there's not anything you can really wing when you're teaching online. It has to be all up and ready to go, because students do like to get in there early. They like to get in and start working as fast as they can. And so you do have to be a lot more organized on the faculty side and on the student side. So on the student side, you don't get to come to a class 2 or 3 times a week and sit there passively. You have to be organized, you have to check the system, make sure you've got all of your assignments lined out for the week, when the due dates are. If you've got big work coming up, you've got to plan ahead, because the communication is different. You're not going to see that teacher weekly. You're going to have to watch for announcements, you're going to have to watch for emails. So it's definitely a different mindset. And some prefer it for the flexibility. Others really, really don't like it, and they miss that human contact. And that can be a challenge online.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Scott Snell, for all you do. The university has your office to help instructors, but also a digital learning multimedia center. And as we go to break, we learn how one instructor gets help creating his online class. Yaneli Lopez reports.
Content out there that's engaging.
Professor Vacheri is teaching his students. But wait, where are the students? Well, they're learning online in the comfort of their dorm or home. Online classes are becoming more popular and in demand as they allow students to have a more flexible class times. But can online be as good as learning in a classroom?
And I think the challenge with online is ensuring that students have the knowledge and skills that would be equal to what they would attain when they're on campus, right? If a student comes through my class, regardless of what modality they come through, I want to ensure that when they hit the marketplace, they have the same set of skills, right? I would never want to see a student that goes to a job interview lacking the same exposure skills that a student that came into the classroom, because I have that more captive audience.
Creating an online course video to give students an almost class-like setting is not as simple as doing a voiceover. Teachers can produce a great video which gets created here in the Distance Learning Multimedia Production Room located in Webster Hall with the help of Noel Wiseman.
So I like the convenience of this setup in this lab here, because I come in, I've got my slides, I've got my material, and then Noel does a great job of just producing it, right? He kind of gives me the sign, go do your thing, and then I do it, and then he splices all together, and I don't have to do any of the production. So it's really nice. Yes, I have recorded on just a laptop, and the audio is not great. The video is not great.
The good quality video is designed to keep the students engaged and edited to cater to sometimes short attention spans.
So they're getting 45 minutes maybe in a given chapter, 45 minutes or so of lecture content. I splice it into a few smaller sections. And that is the strategy I use in hopes that if they're 15-minute increments, that they can kind of watch or even just listen, right? If they're doing work or whatever, versus having a 45-minute session.
Students can play the videos anytime, anywhere. They're learning, even if they're not sitting in these chairs. For KGCS TV, I'm Yaneli Lopez.
Welcome back to Newsmakers as we explore getting a degree online, which creates opportunities for students and challenges for instructors that can require creativity. Joining our conversation now is instructional designer and honors faculty member Diana Fordham and online degree student April Black. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you.
So, Diana, tell us about your approach to using your online classroom, because I know you're really good at this and you make it so the students can't just squeak on by.
I do. I believe in engaging online learning environments, which means they have to be actively engaged in their learning. And so I use online and all the tools, the backpack to engage students and to make sure that they stay continually engaged as they go throughout my semester class.
So in any class, it can be a challenge getting students to read the textbooks, do assignments, even if you do see them in person. So some might wonder how you can guarantee they're going to do the work. And I know you've kind of even told me some hints. What are some of the things you do to make sure, like, oh, I know they read that chapter?
Okay, so we have one of the backpack tools, hypothesis, is that I assign the chapter to them and they have to annotate the chapter. So it is AI resistant, which means they can't read the chapter and go to AI to get the answer. So they have to annotate 4 passages within the textbook, which ensures that I know that they're reading.
Do you feel like you talk to the students that they like working this way?
Well, they don't particularly care for hypothesis, but they know that they have to do it for a grade. It's 10% of their grade. Yeah. So we've never had a tool like that ensures the reading.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, one of the first things my son, who was a college student, said, Mom, they won't read the chapter. And I'm like, well, okay. So especially if they were online learning, you don't get to see them face to face. April, tell us about your experience. You've graduated with a degree online. So what was your degree and what was it like for you?
So I received my bachelor's in science of business administration with my emphasis of human resource management. And for me, it was very flexible. I love my hybrid classes. It really gave me the freedom to do what I needed to do also as a mom and working full time, trying to navigate life. So I really did enjoy the online classes, absolutely.
Yeah. So are some classes more difficult than others to take online, April?
Absolutely, and I really think that that's more centered around who is teaching the courses. I believe that the professors that are more engaged and really give you material that challenge you beyond book work is very beneficial. Those are my favorite kinds of classes.
Yeah. What do you see as the biggest benefit of getting an online degree or taking the online classes?
I'd have to say flexibility. That's the biggest thing for me. I really love doing my classes online because I had the freedom to do them when I wanted to and basically how I wanted to as well.
Mm-hmm. Diana, what kind of feedback do you get from your students?
I really, since I'm creating this online engaged environment, there's a new tool called InSpace. So I actually highly incentivize my students, even my online students meet with me once a week as a class. They become final exam exempt if they attend all of my online sessions. And the feedback that I've gotten from that is that this is the first time in an online class that I've felt part of the institution or that I get to see my classmates. And so that's been very powerful.
I mean, it seems like you do lose a little of the human connection. So
Always.
There is a way to make that human connection this way now.
And there is, and the feedback has been phenomenal from students just loving the opportunity. And it's not about the instructor. It really is about their interaction with each other and to build on the interaction with the course content.
And so they can hear each other's questions?
They can see each other, they go off into groups, they discuss topics, and then they meet back as a class, just like they would in my regular class, to discuss the assignment that I gave them for.
So technology really has made online learning broader. It's not just a one-on-one. It's not just looking at your computer and reading.
Correct.
That's great. I mean, because I feel like that might have been the thing that was the challenge that might be lost for why some students might not like an online degree.
Well, just like faculty. I mean, I've been an online instructor for 20 years, and all of this new technology has reinvigorated my desire to teach online again, because I'm in front of students, I'm teaching students, I'm interacting with students, they're interacting with each other.
Is it a little more work for you, though?
Oh, sure. But some of it you can do up front, and you don't have to touch it again for another year. You know, you are able to implement what you've designed. So yeah, it's amazing.
So April, you said you're still kind of involved with MSSU. Tell us what you've been doing and why you are kind of talking with other students about how this works.
So right now I'm actually going to be speaking here in the fall with Dr. Holston. And basically I'm just going to be going over how I think there's like really high expectations for students for whenever they graduate, and what success and failure looks like. And so I'll be speaking on that and how important networking is and being involved, especially with your academic community, and how much it can benefit you as well as your community.
So you actually use this also to get ahead and even finished a little faster than you would have if you had gone to regular college, as they say?
Yes, I actually was supposed to graduate next year, a year from now. And with the accelerated classes, I was able to, it was a little bit more of a workload, but it really benefited me because I was able to graduate basically 8 months early with the accelerated classes.
Diana, do you see that happening with a number of people where once they're immersed, they kind of run with it?
Yeah, I do, and I think that that's a great opportunity. Again, it's choices, right? If we just give 16-week choices, it doesn't fit everyone's schedule. So we are really catering to those that want to come back and help them learn and get through in a speedy manner, or keep the same pace that we've always done as college. So there's the choices that I think are important.
She mentioned wanting to come back. April, you wanted to learn that way. Do you think that is an important part of even any college careers? Does that make online learning, is that part of the challenge? You have to apply yourself?
Yes, absolutely. I do agree with that. I mean, you do have to have the drive to push yourself, because even though it is an 8-week course, an accelerated course, it's challenging. And so you do have to push yourself a little bit more, but the reward is very beneficial for the end result.
Diana, what advice do you have for other instructors to make the class engaging? Because I mean, my son has had some where he said, oh, it was the teacher lecturing. That's certainly obviously not the best way to use technology.
It's not, and the resources on this campus are amazing. I'll speak for digital learning because I'm part of the digital learning crew, but we cater to those type of instructors that want to learn more and how to use the cutting edge technology to enhance their courses.
Now, one of the things I've seen you guys tout is is it Play Post?
Play Pause It.
Play Pause It. What is that?
It is a video platform where I can upload my videos, I can upload my lectures, and then I can put over the lectures questions that will engage the students 10 seconds in. I've just covered a major part of world civilization, and then I can quiz them as we go through the lecture. And so it's ensuring that they're not getting up and going and getting the sandwich, that they're actually paying attention to the video because they are doing it for a score.
Which is, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, wait, we have a quiz in class.
Yeah.
Well, the class is just a video this time.
Yep.
Excellent. So, April, what advice would you give to other students who might be saying, okay, I can take this, this is my way to learn? What advice do you give them as students?
So I'm going to pretty much piggyback off of the last answer, but basically utilize the tools and resources that are given to you. I think that's the most vital thing that you can do.
What was the best one for you as a student?
For me, it's to stay engaged, especially being engaged with my instructor. I would have to say, using Yellow Dig was great. Getting on there and speaking with other students was a great platform to use. And basically, I would also come up to campus as well, and I would do Project Stay was a great program, resource that I utilized. I got a lot of good feedback from that. So any programs, resources that's offered, I say highly would suggest that they utilize them.
All right, well, thank you both for all your knowledge.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we get details of a new online degree program in public relations. But first, a look at online degrees available and how you can get information. We're back. Whether in business, entertainment, or government, public relations is often an important job, and now MSSU is offering a new online degree in public relations. Joining us to discuss this new offering are public relations professors Shayna Slavings and new to our faculty, Dr. Brian Trude. Welcome, both of you. Brian, you are new to MSSU, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Oklahoma City. Born and raised for the most part, a little detour to Germany for like 8 years. But for the past 7 years, I was earning my PhD at the University of Georgia. I spent the last 2 as a full-time lecturer there teaching digital media, most part. And now I am here as the new assistant professor of public relations and digital media.
Excellent. So talk to us. I mean, we're talking about this online degree. You're going to be teaching several classes that apply to that. What do you see as one of the best benefits of having an online degree program?
Especially in the modern days, coming post-COVID, everyone's used to being cooped up at home, not going places, and I think people got a lot of kind of used to that kind of thing. Modern lives are just so completely hectic that it can be difficult for a lot of people to get into the classroom to enrich their professional skills or to get that degree that will help them get that promotion that they want or to break into that industry that they want. And online degrees really provide the opportunity to get that advancement that they want while still tending to their daily lives, working their full-time jobs, taking care of their families, and without having to spend so much time in a classroom.
Yeah. So why do you think, Shayna, that public relations is a good fit with online learning, and what's going to be offered within our program?
That's a great question, Lisa. So one of the reasons that the public relations degree is a great fit for online learning is because there is going to be a 6% growth predicted over the next 10 years up to 2023, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics and public relations work. And a lot of those jobs, Lisa, are going to be remote public relations jobs. And so public relations really covers a lot of different things, from copy editing to photography to digital media to content strategy to search engine optimization practitioners. So there's a lot of different career paths and job opportunities for remote PR work.
And obviously then if you're going to be working online, learning online seems to be a good fit.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So let's talk about the classes you're going to be teaching, Brian, and how do you have to be organized to get those ready for being online with those classes?
And not only do you have to be very organized to just get ready to teach those online classes, because you have to have basically all the material bunched up into a neat little package ready to go at the beginning of every week for the students, but you also have to be very organized to take those classes. Online classes are a bit of a challenge in that you trade that regular face-to-face time with the professor and you have to replace it with a certain level of self-organization. Being able to keep to your deadlines. But for the students who, there are plenty of students who thrive in that kind of environment, and online programs like the online PR degree are perfect for those students who have that motivation to keep, to propel themselves.
Yeah. You mentioned, Shayna, a lot of jobs that could require just be working online, but public relations by its name would seem to mandate a little human interaction. So how would you implement projects, say, that measure that aspect of a PR degree?
Yeah, that's another great question. So one of the things that we would really encourage our students to do is to participate in an internship. And so even if they were not local students, they could still do an internship where they are and report that and document that and really be able to demonstrate those social skills between themselves and a public. But a lot of it too, if the public is online publics right now. But yeah, of course, we still want to have people who are able to interact with publics as well, large groups of people.
Who are good candidates for a degree like a PR degree?
Oh gosh, I would say anyone who is both creative and organized, anyone who likes to research, write, someone who's social but not necessarily an extrovert. All of those. I'm biased, so I kind of feel like the field of public relations can be a good place for just about anybody.
I especially think a good candidate for a PR degree is somebody who enjoys telling stories.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's a story about something that is happening in the world around them, something that somebody is trying to do or want to do, or even something that people need to be aware of, to be the one to tell that story and to get that word out. People who, that is a great opportunity for the people, for students who want to feel like what the work they are doing matters to society.
Well, you mentioned you do a lot of digital classes. Is this really actually then very apropos? I mean, is it a digital learning environment, but also where they're going to excel? So can they do a lot of, the learning online, make good examples of their work?
Yeah, it's not just a digital learning environment, it is a digital world. The digital community is almost a community in and of itself. Oftentimes the opportunity for public relations in the digital space extends far beyond, just releasing press releases or maintaining a website. So many organizations maintain, social media presences. And social media is not a poster board where you go up and just slap something on the wall and say, hey, we're done, we're on Facebook. Social media is a conversation. And to have that conversation, you need to have that relation.
Yeah. So Shana, you've been teaching here a while. Was there a challenge when we started moving toward more online as an instructor who's been in the classroom? Do you have to change your strategies a little?
I do, yes. I don't want to speak for all instructors, but absolutely I do. I fell in love with teaching being in a classroom, not in an online environment. So that, I will say, was an adjustment for me. I will also say that during, of course, when COVID happened and Missouri Southern didn't come back after spring break, we had to transition our classes online very quickly. And I was concerned. And I will tell you that some of those end of the semester projects that I got that year, specifically from my case studies for public relations students, were amazing. Some of the best, honestly. I think handing over that accountability to them really improved that process.
All right, well, more students are certainly going to be exploring that, and we thank you both for telling us all about the PR degree online.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. It is never too late to learn. Just check out the university website at mssu.edu. Thanks to our guests for telling us all about online learning, and thank you for watching.